All right, boys and girls, today I'm going to try to do two different stories that kind of occur to me. The first one was one I was going over with Ron earlier this week and talking about trying to come up with an example for how we judge, why we judge, but the proof is in the pudding at the end of the day and why it works that way. And I said, all right, you're a school teacher. And you're a school teacher or you're a student. Take it out whatever way you want. Why do you think a school teacher, if the grade is all the test, why do they put the effort into the weekly? Example, I go back to my high school days, and yes, that was a long time ago. So, but we did have gas lamps. It wasn't just candles to light the room. But we went back, and you take a class, and your grade was broken down like this. 40% of your grade was your final. And 40% of your grade were your three, I'll call them midterms. I didn't want we called them them, but you had three major tests. So pretty much at the end of the month, boom, boom, boom. And then 20%, actually it was, I think 10 was your daily and 10% was your weekly test. Or quizzes if you prefer. So in other words, every week, every day we had our work. Every week we had our quiz or test. Every month we had our major test. And every month we had our final. Now here's the reality. This didn't matter. It just didn't matter. It didn't matter on the grade. It didn't matter on anything else. But how does this matter? Because if you did this, you know this. And if you didn't do this, you're whatever. So I was trying to, why did the teachers make us do that? Why did they work it that way? Because let me ask you a question. Do you think your teachers put all of their time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears into this or into this? Because my teachers, my good ones, and I had some great ones, all their work went into this. All of their work actually went here. So it's kind of like, man, lady, why are you judging yourself on this when all your work's done here? Because this is when you teach. That's just the test. And it occurs to me, it's exactly like this for us. So in other words, your daily work are your calls. Your quizzes are your presentations. Your midterms are contracts signed. And your final is closed construction loans. And here's why I say this. I struggled to get B's, but I always had straight A's here and here. Why did I have straight A's here and there? Because there were these sweet young ladies in my class that would do my freaking work for me. Hey, Jenny, what'd you get on number 2? Thanks. Hey, Kelly, what'd you get on number 3? Hey, Jennifer, what'd you get on number 4? Hey, Dipstick, what'd you get on 5? You had to miss one now and then. Sometimes it was a group of people. Sometimes some sweet little gal that I'd joke around with would do it for me. Whatever it was, I could put the answer in. So when you are, and by the way, for those of you that are one-man shops, you can use this to judge yourself, keep yourself honest and all, but this isn't very much for you. This is mostly for the ones with employees. Guys, an employee can always lie, mislead, misrepresent their daily work. I can go in the computer. I've had them. I had the person that was hired to make the calls that I don't know how you're not scheduling presentations. You're making 250 calls a day. Well, then one time we put a little microphone in to listen, and what we had was somebody that called their mom and chatted with her mom all day, and just while she was talking to her mom nonstop, kept showing that she made calls on, and so cycle through. So the program showed an incredible production. But there was no proof in the pudding. We failed the quiz. And people that say, oh, I did all these presentations, you can enter presentations all day long. I could sit there remotely and say, I did 6 presentations last week, boss. I'm really killing it. And you did none. Or you did a really bad job of them, or whatever else. Because even if you did your daily work and you got them in and you actually did do the presentation, which is easy to lie about, but you did it poorly, you'll find out when you take your midterm. This work, the daily work in school, the daily work, the weekly test, is not done to give you your grade by. It is done to teach you the product. But you can mislead on that. The proof is in the pudding. We take the test to prove we did the work. So if you have an employee that is making their 200 calls a day, you have an employee that's supposedly doing their 5-6 presentations a week, but they're not signing any contracts. Beep, beep, beep. One of 2 things, period. 100% of the time, one of 2 things. They either lied or they're doing a horrible job on their presentations. If I made my 200 calls a day and I had no presentations, either A, you're a liar, or, and yeah, I'm serious, guy, you're either a liar or you're horrible. This can be fixed. Easy peasy. Pause for a moment and go to this story. There's the old story, and I'm going to tell it quick because it's one of those great preacher stories, but it takes too long. But there's a lady that she goes down every day from the village, old India village, and walks down the stream and fills her yoke, has 2 pots. And she fills her pots with drinking water and walks back up. And the first pot is mocking the second pot, because the second pot has a crack in it halfway down. So by the time they get back to the village, every single time, this pot's full of all the drinking water needed, and this pot's only half full. And so the second pot, because yes, these pots can talk, the first pot is complaining, making fun of the second. The second feels bad, and he's not good enough, and he's just horrible self-image. And so he complains to the lady, oh, why can't you repair my crack? And she says, oh, no, don't you understand? I knew you had a crack. I planned for that crack. I planted seeds along the roadbed. And while we are walking, the water that leaks from you waters those. So they have beautiful flowers that travel the whole path all the way to the village. So that I see the flowers on my way out and on my way back. And we can pick those flowers and decorate our homes, our tables and everything. You don't have a flaw. You have a perfection. It's just misperceived. I always love that story because it kind of flows into this. I'm a great believer that anyone can do anything. You may hate math, but if you're forced to, you can fight your way through it. You may hate making sales calls, they're not your cup of tea, but if you have to do them, you can fight your way through it. But that said, if it's not your cup, consider hiring somebody else to do it, because you have another skill and another talent. You have another area that is you. You have another area that fits your talent and your path. This weakness here exists because somehow it directly relates to your strength. Do you hate math? You're probably amazing at communicative skills. Do you hate the communicative skills? You're probably exceptional at the detail-oriented structure of math and such works. So know your skill, adapt accordingly. But if you don't have the ability or the finances to hire someone at the time for that because there's just not enough, then fight through and learn how. Okay, now back to making calls, either lying or need to learn the skill set. By the way, if you've hired somebody and you hired them for the purpose of making sales calls to do this for you and they're not getting there, put a teeny weeny bit of time, like maybe 1 more day, into teaching them how to make the calls and judge them in like 2 more days. Because guys, you hired this person to be your crackpot. I hope they thought that was cute. I did. You hired them to be in that role. If that's not their skill set, Don't try to correct them and help make them succeed. Part ways, man, because they're either a liar or you hired the wrong skill set for the job. Either way, wrong person for the job. Get rid of them, move on. Next. Okay. If they are making the calls and they are scheduling the presentations and then they are not passing their midterms, they're not signing contracts, they're doing the presentation wrong or they're lying about doing the presentations. Period. Either A, once again, you're either a liar or B, you're doing them wrong. In which case, again, exact same philosophy. If it's you, consider hiring somebody else. If you can't afford to do that this time, then fight through and learn how. If it's someone you hired for the job, put a teeny weeny little bit of effort into helping them clean up the presentations. Otherwise, part ways now. Because again, you hired somebody to have a specific skill set, and either A, they're a liar, or B, you misjudged and you hired somebody that's to be a left hand because you thought they were, but they were actually a right hand. Hope that made sense. But seriously, don't waste time. Next. And I know it sucks to go next because it takes time, you lose momentum. There's just no other option. I've failed in this area too many times. I am the world's worst at wanting to save everyone. I am the world's worst of, I can teach you, I will get you there. It is my greatest character flaw. Don't be like me, be like I'm trying to learn how to be, impart. So, why are these minor and why are these heavily judged? Because I cannot test you here truly. I can't judge you. I give you the work, I give it to you. It's too easy to lie. But you know where I can catch you, where you cannot lie about whether I did my homework or whether Jennifer did my homework, where I can't lie on whether I looked over at Timmy's quiz and he helped out, is on the big test. Because you know what I learned when I started caring about my classes? If you do this, this is easy. You know when you had to cram for a class? You had to cram for a class when you hadn't done the day-to-day work and taken the notes in the seminars. You know the ones that you're like, I put in an hour, I'm ready for the test. The ones that you went to class every day enthralled and you pay attention and you did your homework as soon as you got out of class and you were always on top of it. Because you learned it and you had it down and you knew it. So conversely, in our world, when you're looking at your people, it's impossible to not have the results. And if you don't have the results, seek first to understand, but don't give it much time and start flowing into the other way. And anybody that's saying, well, how can I adjust? How can I teach? Guys, again, and here's my final reminder to you. We have U-Build at University, which is fantastic, and it has all the training you could ever want. It is racked, stacked, and packed, and we can add more to it if you need. Let us know. So this is our quasi training for the week. I hope it was helpful. I hope it wasn't too confusing. The metaphor helped us a lot this week on something, and I hope it does you as well. If it doesn't, then I'm so sorry, and I thank you for still watching. Have a great day.